Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts. So, Will Smith is in the news. I think we all know what happened last night during the Oscars. Whether you were watching or not, you heard about it, you've seen the footage at this point. I have a few things to say, so I'm making this video. Because traditionally, I wouldn't be covering anything Oscars related. Normally, I would just tweet something or whatever. But this is something more. This is something more. Because it turned from the Oscars in terms of the focus of the show into literally the focus is all on Will. You type in Will Smith, all this comes up. There's an article that came out from TMZ about roughly an hour ago at this point as I was setting up for the video, saying that Chris Rock, the joke that of course caused the slap heard around the world, he was unaware that Jada Pinkett Smith, of course, Will Smith's wife, is dealing with alopecia. I think it's how you pronounce the condition she has where she cannot grow hair. I believe that's what it causes. But he was unaware. He was unaware that she was dealing with it, even though I think she's talked about it before. But he made the joke about her being G.I. Jane 2. We're actually going to go through the actual moment itself because I want to point out a couple things. A lot of people have been pointing this stuff out, but I think it's very telling. And when you think more about it in terms of the walk-up to cause the slap to actually perform the violence itself is pretty insane because at any point Will Smith could have stopped himself. But he didn't. So we're actually going to go over here and here it is right here. So this is right as the joke is about to be said and we're going to point out a couple things in this. So let's play it for a few seconds.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right?
Okay. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. Jada's not happy. Will's laughing at this. I wish, and I don't know if there's footage of this, I wish there was footage because it cuts to Chris Rock of Will looking over at Jada and realizing, oh, wait a minute, I should not be laughing at this. Because it cuts to Chris. And so when we continue here, he's still laughing as the camera cuts. He's like, really?
That was a nice one. Okay.
So he's about to walk up. And as we'll see, as he's walking up and then walking away, Will, there was so much time where he could have stopped himself from hitting Chris. Okay, first of all, he laughed at the joke. He was laughing at it. Now, the question is, what Chris Rock said, shut up computer, what Chris Rock said, should he not have said it? Was it offensive? That is up to each individual. But regardless of what he said, violence is not the response, not the correct response. Will should have waited till after the show, or at least during a commercial break, to go talk to Chris about what he said if he really had an issue. But he instead went this route. But so he thinks he's just going to continue on. And apparently from what people are saying as well, that Chris did not get that joke approved by the Academy. Apparently that was a off the cuff, which Chris is known to be off the cuff at times in terms of not approving stuff, and he just says whatever's in the moment because he's a comedian. But regardless, so let's look at so much time passes here, and he's he's laughing. Look how long that, and then bam, he takes the hit. You see how long that walk was to get up to that point? That is a long stretch of time. It wasn't like 2 steps. It wasn't like 3. He had to take multiple steps to get up there. And any point, he could have done something else. He could have just sat down and yelled out what he yells out, which I know the audio is not the best here in terms of my audio versus the audio of this, but that's what Twitter sometimes just does not have the best audio. And every time I looked at a different version on YouTube, it was always compressed and it was terrible quality. So there's that.
Wow.
See how long of a walk it is back to a seat. He's not even there yet.
Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
And that was not censored. Well, I know the United States censored a lot of this, but everywhere else outside the United States played the whole thing. And then everyone's like,
wow.
You hear, ooh.
It was a G.I. Jane.
And then
I'm going to. Oh.
He's so angry. Now, see, people thought it was a bit because I thought it was a joke or some sort of bit at first between them when you see the hit. But when you see the facial expression here,
I'm going to. Okay.
he's being very loud. You can clearly hear him. The whole audience is like quiet at the second time he repeats himself. And so Chris at this point has to figure out how to continue.
Okay.
He doesn't know what to do. He has no idea how to continue because he's like, I don't know what just happened. There's been a lot of response from different people in terms of comedians, in terms of performers, saying this has basically opened the door for anybody to go up on stage at a comedy show, any sort of performance that they don't like or they think is offensive, and hit somebody. I don't know if this is going to start something like that, but this is not good. Because when Will Smith won the Oscar later that night for Best Actor, he doubled down on defending his family. And that's completely fine, because see, if somebody attacked or made fun of my wife, I wouldn't respond with violence, but I definitely wouldn't. I would be pissed off like he was when he screamed at Chris after hitting him. But this was not the answer. Now, here's something I wanted to point this out because it just shows the Academy's response. This was, of course, after the fact, after the show was over. The Academy does not condone violence of any form. Okay, then why was he allowed to stay at the show? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Why was he allowed to stay at the show if you don't condone violence? Because there's footage where he's being talked to by Denzel Washington. Will Smith's publicist goes to him during commercial break, and other actors as well were trying to calm the situation down. And yet you didn't. All you did was send a tweet, and now there's discussion of taking his Oscar away. You already gave it to him. You allowed him the same night he hits a person who is giving out an award. I believe it's a reward for documentary. I believe Chris Rock. You allowed him to sit. He's sitting like in the front row of the whole entire thing. So the rest of the presenters, the rest of the people who won Oscars that night after this occurred are looking at Will. He's sitting right there. He wasn't escorted out. He was allowed to stay. That doesn't make sense to me. If you're going to tweet, the Academy does not condone violence of any form, then why was Will Smith allowed to stay at the show? I don't understand that. At this point, don't even tweet something. Like, if you're going to allow him to sit there and, first of all, watch the rest of the show and only have actors speak to him. I didn't hear anything about security or anybody from the Academy speaking to him during the show. All I was hearing and seeing from footage was other actors talking to him and his publicist. Then do not even tweet this, because all the people responding to this tweet are saying, what are you talking about? You allowed him to stay on the show. I like Will as an actor. He's done some really good stuff. But this was so ridiculous and so unprofessional. We can sit here all day and discuss Chris Rock's joke and whether it was okay or not, or if it was offensive, because to some people it is, and to others it's not. Look, all I'm saying is violence was not the response here, and they allowed him to sit there. And the fact is, too, when he won his award, standing ovation from everybody in the crowd. Everybody was standing up, celebrating that he won the Oscar. Now, I get it. He won an Oscar for his performance in King Richard, and that was something he filmed, of course, for the film, and that was not reflective to what he just did on stage. But he did that in front of millions upon millions of people watching the show and everybody in the audience. And they stood up and applauded for him. My thing is this. If you're going to sit there and say the Academy does not condone violence in any form, then he should not have been allowed to accept his award. He should have been told to leave. Simple as that. Now, Chris Rock is not filing charges. Could Will Smith lose his Oscar? I don't know. They're discussing that right now. But at this point, you gave him the Oscar. You allowed him to give his speech, doubling down on what he did. Why take it away? Like, seriously, why? Like, if you're considering taking it away, then you should not allow him to have taken it and accepted it and gave a speech for it. I'm sorry. You have to either. You should have made a decision at that moment. You should have either kicked him out or allowed him to stay and don't say anything about it. Obviously, you have to say something about it, but you get my point. Like, if you're going to allow him to sit there after hitting somebody, then don't say anything. Don't tweet this. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. So, look, did Will Smith deserve the Oscar? I haven't seen the film, so I can't answer that question. But they gave him the Oscar, and they allowed him to speak. and he was partying it up that night. And as far as we can tell, they both have not reconciled. There was something that came out that P. Diddy or whatever said that they were all cool and everything, but apparently no, that's a lie. So I don't know. People are just trying to get attention at this point. My whole thing is this: this was a shit show from this moment. And I think a lot of people were not even taking the Oscars this serious this year in terms of the host they picked, especially Amy Schumer, who people don't like. A lot of people don't like her, but for me, I don't watch the Oscars live, and I honestly thought it was a bit, and now we're here with this whole situation. And my thing is this: the Academy should have kicked him out if they really didn't condone violence, and if they were not going to kick him out, they shouldn't have said anything like this. And this whole situation is a mess that Will is going to have to deal with for the rest of his life. It's always been brought up in terms of things he's done, in terms of embarrassment. He's probably going to talk about it in an interview or maybe make a video back, because I know he's popular on social media. He does make posts. So maybe he'll address it. So maybe he'll actually talk about this. I don't know. But it's a whole situation. It's really messed up. What do you guys think of this whole situation? Do you think Will Smith acted inappropriately? I honestly think that he really was very unprofessional with this whole situation. Regardless of what Chris Rock said, regardless of what he says, violence is not the response, and especially the way because there was so much time him walking up there, he could have made the decision to say nothing, or not hit him, but he could have vocally said what he said. It would have been probably okay, Will, but him going up and actually hitting him in the face, who knows? Will Smith could have probably been in a worse situation and started hitting him harder. Right? Could have punched him. He smacked him though, but could have been worse. And I think Jaden Smith tweeted something as well. I wonder if I can pull that up right now. I wasn't planning on doing this, but Jaden said something about this, or like, people are thinking that his response was to this, and that's how we do it. I'm not sure if that's in response to what his dad did. I couldn't help but do this. I don't know what that is. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this response to his dad winning, but people are thinking that this response could be relaying to him hitting Chris. I don't know. The whole situation's a mess. It really is. So, what you guys think of this whole situation? Did you think it was a joke at first? Do you think the Academy should not have responded like they did with this tweet? Do you think that he deserved his award? Whatever thoughts you have about this whole situation, guys, let me know in the comments below. I'm curious to know your thoughts. I will talk to you guys soon. Peace out.